A few weeks before the Liberal government launched its mandate tracking website, last week's much derided attempt to tell the government's story, Michael Healy, a Toronto playwright who has scripted several portrayals of prime ministers, tweeted a clarion call for Justin Trudeau's administration to better explain itself. You have all this room politically. Act as radically as you promised you would. Give us the transparent government you promised. If you can't, tell us why you can't, he wrote. Unmuzzle ministers, let them make mistakes in public the way the PM did. And the culture of talking points and messaging. If the job of clean water on reserves is tougher than you thought, tell us why. Tell us what you're doing. Is meaningful reform to the access to information system impossible? Tell us why. If it's not, then give us meaningful reform. Speak to us, he begged, repeating that request 5 times. In a way, that's what the government's new website is, an attempt to speak to the general public. But it is surely not what a playwright would have done. I admit that my perspective is that of an outsider and that I might be naive, says Healy, who took on Stephen Harper in a play called Proud and considered Joe Clark in 1979. That my desire for strong speech may have more to do with my impulses as a dramatist than as a political observer. What Healy wants sounds like something from The West Wing, Aaron Sorkin's hyper-erudite and idealistic drama about the fictional presidency of Jed Bartlett. Justin Trudeau should at least be familiar with its allure. He was such a fan that he agreed to appear on a podcast dedicated to the show this past July. Healy's lament might get at something that links the mandate tracker with 2 of Trudeau's other grand moves toward a better approach to politics, his town hall-style forums with the general public and his creation of a weekly session of question period dedicated entirely to questions for the Prime Minister. In each case, Trudeau has gone further than his immediate predecessor would have ever bothered or dared. But in none of those endeavors has Trudeau quite broken through the carefully constructed walls of modern political discourse, the tight, safe rhetorical space within which politicians try to limit mistakes and control the message. His government, with periodic exceptions, Ralph Goodale and Chrystia Freeland could sometimes pass for West Wing characters, is still exceedingly disciplined, endlessly repeating a series of simple messages. Every time a minister retreats behind talking points, I just go, why? Healy says. Why would you not just speak directly to whatever it is? It does not take a playwright's eye to spot this failing in the modern politician. But this is also, coincidentally, where the notion of real politics as theater begins to break down. I have a hard time watching Question Period, first of all because it's so badly lit, says Healy, who is currently collaborating on a series about federal politics that has been pitched to the CBC. But also because what happens in Question Period is completely antithetical to the idea of theater, because there is nothing surprising that occurs in those 45 minutes.